Dust swirled around Daniel's worn sandals as he clutched the scholarship letter, a thin piece of paper that held the weight of his future. His village, a humble patchwork of mud brick homes beneath a heavy, sun-bleached sky, felt a world away from the gleaming, glassed hours he saw in the university brochure. The contrast was dizzying. A future so bright it was almost blinding. "You earned this, son," his father said, his voice thick with pride, his calloused hand resting heavily on Daniel's shoulder. "Go and make us proud. But remember who you are. Remember where you come from." His mother, her eyes shimmering with a mix of hope and sorrow, pressed a small, smooth stone into his palm. It was cool against his skin. "Kindness, Daniel," she whispered, her voice a gentle melody. "It is a currency worth more than gold. Never forget that." He nodded, a silent promise forming in his heart, his gaze steady. He would not let them down. The flight to London felt like a surreal dream, the roar of the engines a drumbeat heralding a new chapter. The city was a sprawling, chaotic symphony of sights and sounds, a concrete jungle that tested him at every turn. Daniel threw himself into his studies, his mind a sponge soaking up knowledge, but survival was a constant battle. He worked grueling late nights, the scent of cleaning chemicals clinging to his clothes as he polished office floors. He spent hours hunched over a desk, his eyes burning as he translated documents for a meager wage. He saved every pound, every penny, each coin a small victory against the crushing weight of his expenses. But Daniel was more than just a survivor. He was a natural entrepreneur. He started small, using his sharp intellect to navigate the city's bustling markets. He bought and sold, his instincts for a good deal uncanny. He saw opportunities where others saw none, his intelligence cutting through the noise of the city like a sharp knife. Slowly, then quickly, the money began to pile up. His small ventures grew into larger enterprises. The once empty bank account swelled, a testament to his relentless drive and ambition. Years later, he returned home. The news of his arrival had spread like wildfire through the village. The elders, their faces etched with the wisdom of generations, gathered to welcome him, their cheers echoing through the familiar dusty streets. But he didn't arrive on the rattling old bus he had left on, a sleek black car, its polished surface reflecting the midday sun, purred to a stop, and Daniel emerged. He was no longer the boy in worn sandals, but a man in a perfectly tailored suit, the fabric a stark contrast to the world he had left behind. "Daniel, my son, you've done so well." His father beamed, his eyes wide with he reached out to embrace him. Daniel nodded, a cool, detached expression on his face. He barely returned the hug. "I did," he replied, his voice clipped and distant. "I told you I would." There was no warmth, only the cold satisfaction of a goal achieved. A few days later his father approached him, his expression somber. "Your mother," he began softly, his voice trembling slightly. "She needs medicine. The doctors say it's expensive." Daniel cut him off. "I have investments to manage, father." "Not a charity to run," he replied, the words sharp and unfeeling. He turned away, leaving his father standing there, stunned into silence. Emeka, his childhood friend, the one he used to chase through the fields with, found him by the old baobab tree. "Daniel, it's so good to have you back," Emeka said, a hopeful smile on his face. "We're trying to fund a new well for the village. The old one is nearly dry. With your success, maybe you could." Daniel scoffed, a bitter, condescending sound. "Help yourselves," he sneered. "I built my fortune with my own 2 hands. No one gave me anything." He walked away, leaving Emeka staring after him, his hopeful smile fading. He bought the largest plot of land on the edge of the village and built a mansion that towered over the simple mud brick homes, a monument to his own success. He hosted lavish parties for wealthy associates from the city, the sound of their laughter and loud music a constant intrusion into the village's quiet nights. He ignored his old neighbors, looking through them as if they were ghosts. His mother, her health failing, warned him, her voice a fragile whisper. "This money, this life, it is changing you, Daniel. I don't recognize the man you've become." "I'm not changing," he retorted, his voice hard. "I'm becoming who I was always meant to be. Successful, Powerful, fueled by his arrogance, he poured his fortune into opening a chain of luxury stores in the city. He fired his most skilled and loyal staff, people who had been with him from the beginning, and replaced them with unqualified relatives who flattered his ego. He spent extravagantly, his desire for opulence insatiable, but the foundation of his empire, built on pride rather than prudence, began to crack. The stores, mismanaged and hemorrhaging money, failed one by one. His investments soured. The money that once seemed endless vanished like smoke. First, the sleek black car was repossessed. Then the mansion stood empty, its lavish furnishings sold off to pay mounting debts. One cold London morning, Daniel shivered on a street corner, the thin jacket he wore doing little to ward off the biting wind. He was just another face in the crowd, invisible and forgotten. A kind woman, seeing his plight, dropped a coin into his outstretched hand. The metallic clink echoed in the silence of his failure. In that moment, the faces of his parents, the hopeful eyes of his villagers, and the concerned look of his friend Emeka flashed before his eyes. He caught his reflection in a shop window and stared, horrified. A gaunt, hollow man stared back, his eyes empty, his suit now a tattered reminder of a life he had thrown away. Pride, selfishness. He had built a wall of gold around himself, believing it would protect him, elevate him. But all it did was imprison him. He had gained a fortune but lost everything that truly mattered. Alone on that cold street, Daniel finally understood the weight of the smooth stone his mother had given him, and the lesson he had so arrogantly forgotten. Some things are worth more than gold. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you next time.